Hello, it's Reija and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be talking about all the worst graphic novels that I read in 2018. Just like with my worst books video, I have come up with categories for each of these graphic novels. Without further ado, let's get started. Category is Style over Substance. Looks good, but where is the plot? For this I went with Wet Moon by Sophie Campbell. I had followed Sophie Campbell in DeviantArt back in the day, and I had really liked her aesthetic. So when I saw these graphic novels in the library, I was like, okay, I will read them. And I read 3 volumes, and the art style kept changing, which wasn't that bad in retrospect. But in 3 volumes, nothing of significance happens. You don't really get to know who these characters are and what they want and what is their relation to the plot. But you see a lot of fetishization of things like amputees and the alternative fashion scene and the goth scene and scene kids and such. So this is very much aesthetic over anything storytelling related. And if you're into that, you might enjoy it, but I just felt that this was a waste of my time. Category is Much Ado About Nothing. A lot happens, but what does it have to say? For this I went with Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan. I have talked about it in a couple of videos, and I just feel like this is a series about nothing. A lot of things keep happening, but who are these characters? What do they want? What does anything mean? It's just... If in 3 volumes nothing of value has happened, or I don't know what the value is, I'm going to start losing my interest. And that's what happened. Category is Fanservice Out of My Mind. This is pretty self-explanatory, and I went with Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui. I had to stop reading this series because, first of all, it started getting really repetitive, and second of all, there was a character who was used for nothing except fanservice. And it was really jarring because they felt really out of place as a character. They weren't competent and they weren't adding anything to the story except a pair of tits. And I wasn't here for it, and I was pretty much starting to lose interest from the moment that character appeared. But I still pushed myself to read a couple more volumes, and then I realized that, oh my god, this is gonna be like this for the foreseeable future and for the next 20 volumes or so, and I just called it quits because I could not do it. Category is Beating a Dead Horse, an old tale with nothing new to say. For this category I went with Extremity Volume 1 by Danielle Warren Johnson. I recently talked about it at length in my December wrap-up, and I just think that both aesthetically and in storytelling, this is a rehash of old ideas that add nothing new to the table and are not done as well as in previous stories that I have read. And the final category is Everything is Awful, a terrible story about terrible people. For this category I went with Koko Be Good by Jen Wang, which is interesting because another graphic novel by Jen Wang is in my best graphic novels of the year list, coming next week. And this is the debut graphic novel of Jen Wang, and it is about these 20-something characters figuring out their existence and figuring out their lives, and they are all terrible people. But what's worse is that the narrative doesn't acknowledge the fact that they are terrible people and actively tries to make you sympathize with them and also the narrative guilt trips the people who are calling out these characters on their behavior. And I was like, I'm sympathizing more with these so-called antagonists than with the main characters. The art is really pretty, but all in all, this story just had nothing to tell and nothing to say about these characters' behavior, which would have made for an interesting story, but that wasn't the story the author wanted to tell, I guess. And there you have it. Those are all the worst graphic novels that I read in 2018. Have you read some of these? Do you agree with me? Are they some of the worst graphic novels that you have read? And what are some of the worst graphic novels that you have read in 2018? I would like to know. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I hope to see you next week when I will be uploading my best of the year lists. I will see you then. Bye bye!